Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole Laino. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole Laino, and we are here for installment number 4 of our profile series for human design. So human design profile is one of my favorite pieces of human design because I think that it gives you the biggest bang for your buck as far as really being able to embody your design. Like I've said here on the show before, profile falls into what I call the human design trifecta. These 3 pillars that everything sits on in order to work and function properly. If you don't have these 3 pieces dialed in, then all of the other stuff that you're doing is not really going to work. It's going to feel off. It's probably going to be confusing. And you're going to really be stuck in your head about these other things because you're going to say, I feel like I'm learning a lot. I feel like I'm dialing in a lot. I'm trying to understand my design, but it's not working. And really the reason for that is embodiment. You're not embodying it. You're thinking about it. You're trying to understand it. And this isn't something to necessarily purely understand. It is meant to be embodied. It's meant to be used. It's who you become. And of all the pieces of human design where this concept of becoming is easiest to understand, is easiest to step into, I think profile hits that on the head. Of course, we get strategy and authority with our type. Strategy tells us how our energy is used. This is that trifecta that I'm talking about. The 3 pieces of the trifecta are your human design type, tells you how your energy is used. It tells you how your energy is expressed. It tells you how you get into gear. It tells you how the universe speaks to you through your strategy. Then we have your authority. How do I make decisions? What's right for me and what's not? Those are the mechanical things that we're doing. But the profile is the role that you are here to play in this movie called your life. And so I think there's something inherent in role that says, this is who I'm here to be, not just the things that I'm here to do or think about or understand. Now, doing does lead to being in this case. We do have to start to live as our role, as our profile, live out the truth of who we are and who we're here to be. And through that process of living it, we start to become it more and more every single day. So that's what this series is all about. We're highlighting each of the 6 lines in each episode. We're doing 6 of these for the 6 lines of profile. Now, everybody gets 2 numbers in their profile. You get one in the front, and then you get a / and then a second number. So everybody's going to get 2 of these episodes that pertain to them. 5-1 is my profile. So the episode on the 1 line and the episode on the 5 line will be relevant to me. So paying attention to what those numbers are for you. What are your 2 numbers? And you're going to pay close attention to those 2 episodes. Now, if you have family or friends that are really close to you and you know what their design is, it can be really helpful to understand what all of these lines mean, how you interact, understand how you are different and how you might be the same. Where might there be complements? Understanding everybody's profile lines can be incredibly eye-opening. So if you have a 1 line and somebody else has a 1 line, that's a commonality that you share. You probably have similarities or a way that you see and move through the world or things that are just at their core important to you. I tend to vibe with other 1 lines and other 5 lines. There's just a natural thing of just, I get you. That's where that comes from because it comes from a shared human experience, something that is similar. So before we get started diving into the specifics around the 4 line and all of that, I want to call out that we do have a free guide on profile. There's 2 aspects of profile that are really important. The living, that archetype of who you're here to be. And then there's that business side of your profile, which is associated with your brand, which is associated with your brand voice. How you show up in your business can be a direct reflection of living out that human design archetype of your profile lines and of your profile. So if you want to know what your brand voice is, what I call your X factor, tuning into your X factor, if you would like to dive into that, we have a free guide for you called Finding Your X Factor by Design. All you have to do is go on to Instagram, go to my profile. I'm at Nicole Laino Official. and DM me the word X Factor, all one word, the letter X and then the word factor, all together, no spaces or dashes or anything. DM me that word and we will send you the link to the free guide. Or you could go to NicoleLaino.com/X Factor, spelled exactly the same way, and you can download it straight away there on the website. We also have a fun contest for you. If you would like to be interviewed on this show, if you would like to have a little mini human design reading on the show, ask me the questions that you have about your specific human design. You're wondering how all of this relates to you, your business, your life, your kids, whatever questions you have, you can come and be a guest and we will go through your chart together here on the show. And all you have to do is share the show, share this series, take a little screenshot, share it to your Instagram profile, tag me. Like I said, I'm at Nicole Laino Official. And that's your entry. That's all you have to do. Subscribe to the show and then share that on your Instagram stories and let us know what you're loving about this series. All right. Now let's dive into the 4-line and a little bit more about profile. So profile is what helps you make your way in the world. A lot of people come to me and they say, I want to know my purpose. I want to get in tune with my purpose. What is my purpose? I think human design can show me that. And they want to live more in alignment with what feels right to them and what they feel like they were put on this earth to do. Some people have an inkling of what that is, and other people have less of that, and they're hoping that the chart will show them what that is. But it's one thing to know where the treasure is buried, where that purpose path is leading us. It's another to walk it and to do it a certain way. You cannot live out your purpose if you are not being authentically you. So when we give you your purpose path, we tell you what overall the theme of your life is about. And that's what your incarnation cross can tell you, and the other elements of your chart. These are all things that I go into when I do a business or a purpose reading. We go into that in a very deep way where I go through all of the activations in your chart. But again, that's just knowledge. In order to live your purpose, you have to be living authentically as yourself. And to be authentically yourself, the way that I refer to it is the role that you're here to play in this movie called your life. You have to be in tune with and living as your unique profile. So in other words, I'm a 5-1. I cannot live out my purpose if I'm trying to be a 2-4. I cannot live out my purpose if I'm trying to be a 1-3. That will not work. I have to be doing and being according to how a 5-1 would achieve this purpose, how a 5-1 would go about making their way through the world. Because our purpose is nothing but a series of small little moments chosen correctly in alignment with who we are so that we are walking the path toward our destiny, so to speak. So that we're connecting with the right people, so that the right people are hearing us. Profile is why you might show up online and say something one day that just feels so right. This just came to me. This was easy. This was something that felt really aligned. Usually those things come fast. We don't have to labor over them. They just pour out of us and people react and respond to us differently. This is where when we hear that kind of overused word, magnetism, that people become magnetic to us. There's something about somebody being authentic that gets everybody looking and saying, I'll have what she's having. Because that's ultimately what we all want to do. We want to be ourselves. And we get confused and we think, I see what she's doing. I think I'll do what she's doing. And then I'll be authentic to myself because I just need to put myself out there. No, you need to put yourself out there as you. And that's what profile can tune you into. So we're talking today about the 4-line. So if you are a 1-4 profile, a 2-4 profile, a 4-1, or a 4-6, then this will pertain to you. Like I've said in the other episodes, the conscious number is first. So if you are a 4-1 or a 4-6, your 4 is conscious to you. That means that you will identify with it more. That means that it will feel like more part of your personality. So when I'm talking about these themes, of what a 4-line is and how it goes about doing its business in the world and people are attracted to that energy, this is going to be stuff that you maybe feel like, yeah, I do that. That's my outward personality. That's my outward presence in the world. I put this out there. Now, if you are a 1-4 or a 2-4, the 4 line will be unconscious to you. So the 4 line will be more of a background theme for you. There's varying degrees of how people identify with this unconscious number on the other side. Usually it is something that is happening, but we don't necessarily feel like we are putting it out in the world. It's going to be something that's a little bit more naturally coming out of you if you are following strategy and authority and all of that stuff. But really what you want to pay attention to if the 4 is in the back is, how are these themes coming up? Where might I be in the shadow of it? How am I maybe not owning this part of me? It's been my experience that the unconscious side of our design, all of the activations that are in that unconscious part of us, are parts that, as we pay attention and become more aware of our design, and we start following our strategy and authority, where we're giving those pieces of us voice, because that's how we bring the conscious and unconscious together, is through strategy and authority. That's how we use all of us, and we become the quantum being and not just this personality side of us that's trying to drive the car. This is where alignment comes from. So as we start doing that, we start to see these themes emerge and come into greater focus for us. So let's talk about the 4 line and what that means. In traditional human design, the 4 line is called the opportunist. Like I've said before, traditional human design has some names for things that they don't feel terribly empowering, or they can sound kind of nasty. Nobody really loves being called an opportunist. But really, the main theme here is that opportunity comes through people. The 4 is our first step into the transpersonal process. The 1, 2, and 3 are about me. They're about the person, the individual. And when we get to the 4, 5, and 6, it starts being connected to other people. This is where we step out of the self-centered side of things and we start stepping out into the world of other people. That doesn't mean the 1, 2s, and 3s don't care about other people. It just means that the process is more individual and focused on the individual. The 4, 5, and 6, they are focused more outwardly. The further we go, the more outward they go. So we're not going to get into that in this series, but the 4 line is a transpersonal line. It's a little bit different. We're not going to go too deep into that concept, but what it really means is the 4 line is starting to say, hey, let's start branching out. It is an outward energy looking for others. So the opportunist means that opportunity comes through people. Opportunity comes through connections. Now, the archetype that I use for the 4 line is the networker. When you're being the networker as a 4 line, when you are allowing yourself to connect with people and you're growing your network, you're building your group of people, your tribe, you are truly making connections out in the world and growing your network, then the brand that you have the potential to become is a connector or community builder. Now, connector is a term. Malcolm Gladwell came out with a book many years ago called The Tipping Point. And it was all about how things go viral. How does something become a sensation where it overtakes the world? And they had things like Blue's Clues. And he had all of these case studies of how do these things become these international global phenomenons. And his thesis was that it all comes down to this concept of connectors. People who spread the word and who just know a lot of people. He really talks about them being more acquaintances than really good friends. And I don't think that's incorrect here in talking about the 4. The 4 line can have superficial relationships. What I've noticed is the 4 line has the capacity to hold a lot of people. The 4 line has the capacity to really hold people. There's an energetic vibe that people get to a 4 where they're like, I want to be close to you. I feel like you're safe. You seem really open. Let's be friends. And there isn't this feeling of the friendship needing to go to the bottom of the ocean. The 4 line, I think in its highest expression, is saying that we can care about other people and we can help each other and we can be in community together without having to be like family. But there is this warmth to the 4 in its high expression. So I bring up the tipping point because I think for a 4 to live in alignment with what their purpose is, and purpose is fulfilled through living out your profile. And in order to do that, You need to have a social network. You need to be growing your influence because you are here to influence people who you know. You're not here to necessarily influence a wide range of total and complete strangers. Now, I always caveat this stuff. Doesn't mean that you can't, doesn't mean that you cannot have influence on strangers. It just means that you will probably have greater success with people that you know or people who know people you know. The network, the group, the community. Communities will be your best friend. And you have the potential to maybe be a community builder if and only if you are really building your own network and you are living as a networker and you nurture this part of your personality. If you go out there and be it out in the world, then it can become your brand. It can become part of what you offer and how you show up in the world in your business. Because you are the spreader of ideas through a community. That was the thesis of the tipping point and the concept of a connector. They spread ideas, they spread products, they spread all of these things through the people that they know. And that's how things become super sticky. It's referrals. It is the word of mouth. It is social media now, where you feel like you know people. They grow community on Instagram, they grow community on TikTok, you grow community on Facebook. And then you have influence over those people who feel connected to you. It isn't necessarily writing a book and having it go to the bestseller list and nobody knowing who you are. The 4-line will probably have more of a connection to people where people will feel connected to them. So that doing leading to being is so important because if a 4-line is hiding, if a 4-line is not making connections, is not growing their network, the shadow of the 4, I did an episode on this a while back. I'm sorry, I should have been prepared for that and told you what number it was, but I believe it was sometime in the fall. I did one called The Shadow of the 4-line. And the shadow of the 4-line is to have a closed heart, to be so afraid of abandonment that you don't open your heart to people. That will cause you to not live in alignment with your purpose and ultimately not achieve your purpose or realize your purpose. And then you end up hunting for purpose all the time. Then you are always on this quest to finally be in alignment and realize your potential. And it's your closed heart that's keeping you from it. This is how doing leads to being. This is how being in alignment with your profile, this is how being armed with this information and having the courage to see where you're hiding, see where you're not in alignment with your profile, with who you are here to be. If you're not being a networker, then you cannot live your potential. You cannot live your purpose. So it becomes this fool's errand to be going out and trying to figure out what your purpose is all the time if you know that in order to live it, I have to be this, and I'm not being that. So that's why my purpose is very elusive, and I don't feel like I can connect with it. It's really having the courage to look at this and say, where am I hiding? Because it is about personal connection. It is about you having influence over the people that you know and the people who know people you know. So are you growing that group of people who know you? Simple. Not necessarily easy for everybody, but it can show you where you're blocked. It can show you why things aren't working, why you're doing all the work and you're not seeing the results. Profile can give you a really, really deep window into that. Now, not everybody wants to go through that window and do the work. That's where you have to show up every day and work on embodying the profile. It isn't just about knowing it. So I hope you download the guide because that will give you something to refer to and to pay attention to and to help you deepen your connection with it. Or this is where you get in with a coach, you get in with somebody who's going to help you embody this so that you can live that potential, so that you can step into this higher version of yourself. This is the purpose of integration work. The integration work often gets lost. So if you want to download that guide, please, again, go to Instagram, DM me. I am at Nicole Laino Official. DM me the letter X and then the word factor, and we will send you the link, or go to NicoleLaino.com/X Factor, and you can download it right there. And if you want to enter the contest, subscribe to the show, take a screenshot of the show, tell us why you're loving this series, and that will be your entry, and you will see if you win. We'll do that after the series wraps. We will let you know who is the winner of that contest, and they will be on the show, and I hope it is you. Thank you so much for being here and for listening all the way to the end of this episode. I appreciate you. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you on your journey of becoming unshakable with human design, everybody. We will see you next time. If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to NicoleLaino.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.